We want to take you now to John Rollins. He's live in Old Newcastle, Delaware, with some dramatic new rescue video. This is in the Strands neighborhood. This was under a mandatory evacuation order, right, John?
Well, that's correct. First of all, good morning, Nydia. And we are in the wharf area right now where the wind is still kicking up. You can see the Delaware River behind me here. You can still see that there's, I guess you would call them white caps that are sort of flashing up there at this point in time. The good news is that the tide is going down. It was not the case between 1:30 and 2:30 this morning, when in effect what happened was a conspiracy basically of the tide and the high wind here to drive water up into some of the nicer sections here of Old Newcastle, where some folks had been under evacuation orders. They had certainly been been told that they needed to leave earlier. Some of them did not. As that water came up around them, then firefighters with the Goodwill Fire Company here had to get into action and help people out. We were told about 5 to 6 people were taken out of there at that point in time, were affected, in effect rescued. We could pick up the story with J.J. Farnham, who is with the fire company, who picks up the story and tells us sort of what went on at that point in time. Let's see if we can hear it.
Basically what happened was, in combination with the high tide, the winds just hit it just right. As you see, we're still having about 40-50 mile an hour gusts here, and it just pushed the tide right up into the city, on the outskirts of the city.
All right, those folks are now safe and sound, those folks who were rescued by the fire company. They're at a local Red Cross center here, and that should be a real good situation. And as for the tide there, as we said, it is receding. We're headed toward a low tide. I guess sometime after 6:20 this evening, or this morning rather, is when the low tide will be. And that's the situation right now here in historic Old Newcastle. Back to you all.
All right, John, thanks so much.